Okay, here's giant salvinia. It's a floating fern, so here's its root, right here. And this is kind of it's had a hard winter. But you see the little furs, the little hairs on it? Kind of looks like a cat's tongue, does it not? Kind of feels like a cat's tongue too, right? Or maybe Velcro. And pretty cool, huh? Well, that allows it to keep waterproof. It also, unfortunately for us, keeps it from taking in herbicides. That's why we have to put a little thing called a surfactant in with our herbicides, because it helps for the plant to absorb. It helps make the plant absorb that herbicide, which makes it that much more expensive to treat this plant. And it doesn't look like much, right? It's a giant salvinia. It's not very big, is it? Because it's not named for its size. It's actually named because it's a big problem. Oh, huge problem.
Okay.
Now, this is, again, a floating fern. And what's the difference between a fern and a flower? I'm hitting a lot of biology. I'm so sorry.
No, do it. Do it. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's a flower is on land and the fern is in the water.
Kinda, but we'll get lots of flowers in the water.
Flower has petals. A flower has a stamina. Flower has
reproductive cycle.
Right.
Yeah, ovaries and
flowers. Flowers have flowers.
Right.
Ferns don't make a flower.
They just have leaves.
They have a different kind of reproductive organism.
Right. They have a cuticle.
Right. They have what's called alternate generations. So it's a lot more archaic. It's older, and it's a little more complicated. But flowers are real easy. They've got male and female parts, or some flowers are just male and some flowers are just female. So it's more like what we're familiar with. But ferns are a little different. And fortunately for us, this plant does not make a viable reproductive. See this little piece right here? See the little things that come off? Those are where the spores would be produced. Spore is the gamete. Spore is the reproductive gamete for a fern.
Yeah.
But in this case, this plant is what we call a pentaploid, which means it has 5 sets of chromosomes. Do you know what that means?
I haven't heard it in a long time.
Chromosomes is XX or XY.
Right, XX or XY.
But it has 5 sets.
That's called what a beetle being.
What that happens, if you have 5 sets of chromosomes, you cannot make a viable gamete because you can't split 5 evenly. So you can't make a viable gamete. So that means that spore is not viable. Thank God for us, because we would never catch up with it then. Unfortunately, this plant has it's like it has a brain. And it says, okay, well, I don't have to worry about impressing the ladies or putting out in this energy into this reproductive system, right? So I'm going to throw all of my energy into growing, and I'm going to be fragile, so when I break off, I can be a whole nother plant. And that's why we can't keep up with this plant when you get it. It grows so fast, and it breaks off so easily, and it reproduces that way. And once you get 1 acre, you cannot leave. You may go out there and say, oh, it's just an acre. That's not, you have to get every bit of it. And if you look around, there's no way we're going to get every bit of it. So we'll be fighting this plant forever. The best way to prevent this plant is do not get it anywhere. So don't ever transport it knowingly or unknowingly. Don't transport it unknowingly. That's kind of hard to do. But
yeah.
but that's a challenge with this plant. One of the many challenges with this plant.
Is that called fragmentation?
Fragmentation.
So what somebody did
Did what to us?
What they had this plant and they put it on cattle.
It's very likely that it did happen that way. But a lot of times, this plant was growing at North Toledo Bend on that lake, and sometimes it's just accidental. And you just have no idea you're transporting it.
Boat trailers.
Boat trailers, duck decoys.
That's in Louisiana, isn't it?
You bet. This thing is South American, and it is all over the southern United States, all over the United States.
That's why I tried to get you to go down there with it.
But those are
Lake Bistino.
We saw the video where
I used to go down there all the time.
something's traveling up through California.
Toledo Bend.
I don't know what that one is.
But the labor is
Toledo Bend,
at the South Bend.
It may be. It could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell you another thing, nice little thing about this plant is
So
it
you
is
go down
not, it's completely fresh water.
Yeah.
It is not, it can't take salt water whatsoever. If you put this in salt water, it's dead in 7 minutes.
Why don't you put salt water on?
We kill everything else too. The bald cypress tree is not saltwater tolerant. So it can't live in saltwater, nor fish. So unfortunately that hurts us.
Yeah.
It's a
So the ocean still can't
That's right. The ocean and brackish water does not catch this. Do not catch this disease. This plant. It will not get this plant. Yeah.
It's like an infection.
It's like a cancer, is what it is. It's like a cancer, and it's a bad plant. There's another one called Salvinia minor or common Salvinia, and the way you tell the two.
I see it growing for some reason. It might help in some kind of way.
There may be some way it can. That's an excellent. Plants always help us, and if you can find the answer, if you found something where this plant would help us one way or another, you would be Nobel Peace Prize winner like you wouldn't believe.
You go get to work.
Get to work.
You better work.
Because
let me tell you, this plant has a lot of chemical properties, such as it has a metabolic inhibitor. Do you know what that means?
That's preventing something. Some type of metabolism.
That's right. It means it messes up your metabolism. So animals that eat it, which they don't, it could kill them because it screws up their metabolism. And so there's one chemical property about this plant that is quite interesting. You know, there could be other features about these plants, chemical properties about these plants that could be helpful in some cases. So the only thing we have to treat this plant right now is biologically is the Salvinia weevil, and it's a little tiny, well, y'all saw the beetles, yeah. Little tiny thing, and unfortunately with them, they're not very cold hardy. So when y'all go back to school, y'all are gonna knit some little sweaters for our Salvinia weevils so that they have something to wear, right? But no, they're not very cold hardy, and we can't get them established. We have to put a whole bunch out there to really get them established, because it's the reproductive cycle that helps us kill this plant. It's not that they eat it; it's the way they lay their eggs, and the larvae is what kills this plant. So the bug has to have the conditions to reproduce to be successful. And we have to have a lot of bugs out there to get us. But that is Salvinia. What else? What?
Well, we saw a video where they had a conference and the Salvinia plant man walking to the conference room.
Oh, the Salvinia monster.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.